Welcome, friends. It is I, your Lost Scarf, and it's time for another vlog. In the background should be an Arena Anubis, and in that game, do alright. I do alright. Now, the first half of the game, I'm pretty careful with Anubis. I'm playing very timid, being very careful, trying to land my mummifications, then go for kills, and it has mixed results. So, the second half of the game, I go hyper aggressive, and it has mixed results. So, what's the lesson of this game is land your goddamn mummifications. Also, don't be laggy. I don't know what's going on, but there's been a lot of laggy opponents lately, or the game's been, I don't know if it's the server or laggy opponents or what's going on, but things just look really weird sometimes. Like, some of my battles are, like, the more skill shot stuff when you miss them really sucks, because I've thrown out mummifications where it's gonna hit them, and then they just hop out of range of it, and it's like, what? Huh? What? That's weird. That doesn't make any sense, and hackers do exist in the game, not hackers, but the people who take advantage of whatever, and there are speed exploits and stuff like that you can do in this game. I've seen them, and there's no way that's all I'm seeing. There's got to be some lag going on as well, but it's hard to tell sometimes. I've seen people do some pretty shady stuff, and they did get called on it, and they got banned. But I've seen some things, and so sometimes I'm really not sure if it's lag or not, and so I just report it to make sure. In this game, there's none of that, really. I think it was just lag, but in other games, it's extremely suspicious, especially when a Guardian gets halfway across the map really friggin' fast. It's extremely suspicious when they don't have Blink or Sprint or anything with speed. You just go, what the hell happened there? So I have done reports before. I've sent things to, Gavin, I believe it's Gavin? Yeah, I think it's Gavin that you send stuff like that to, and he'll look into it. So I sent stuff to Gavin before. And there's just some extremely suspicious stuff that I've seen. But this game goes alright, This just goes alright. Let's talk about, of course, Smite stuff. Saw Rama. Rama looks pretty cool there. I'm in the belief that he lacks CC. He doesn't have much. All he's got is a cripple and I think a slow, and that's all he's got. So he's not very much CC compared to other gods in general, but also just compared to ADCs. Because, yeah, he's just got a cripple, and I think it's a slow, right? That's all he's got. It's a 2-second cripple, though, and Inuki replied to my Reddit post that it's a solid CC because it's 2 seconds. Like, I guess you're right about that, because 2 seconds is a long time, but it only affects half the roster. But you can think about the same thing. Any soft CC only affects like half the roster. You look at slow. Slow's really good in general, but if you got an escape, you have a good chance of getting out of what slow can do to you. Cripple's the other way around is... you can't leap, but if you didn't have an escape in the first place, it doesn't matter. Same thing go for silences. Silence is great against casters. If you're a basic attack god, silence doesn't stop you. You can still shred like that, so silence doesn't mean much to you. There is no soft CC against ADCs though. Like, I guess there was an attack speed slow on Shock. That's gone now. No one really has a soft CC against ADCs, pretty much. The only soft CC against ADCs sorta is the Midgardian Mail, because that slows you down when you hit with it. Or Witchblade. That's about it. That's pretty much it. So, yeah. There's quite a few soft CCs, and they don't affect 100% of the roster completely. Well, hard CCs do, obviously. When you get knocked up, you can't do anything. When you get stunned, you can't do anything unless you got beads or Artemis, Aphrodite's ultimate. And just stuff like that. Like, hard CCs, no one can get away from. Like, once it hits you, you're in it. But soft CCs, it affects part of the roster. That's how soft CCs are. And, yeah. Let's see. I do consider, even though you still do basic attacks, I consider Taunt to be a hard CC, because you're not allowed to do what you want. You are doing basic attacks, but you are not allowed to do what you want, so, yeah. I think that's more of a hard CC than a soft. It's somewhere in the middle, honestly. Banish is a hard CC. I think it's all been talked about before. Alright, so, it's hard to not talk about, so I gotta talk about it. So, the Bastet guide came out, and it got mixed reception for sure. Quite a few people saying it's complete crap, a few people saying it was great, so it's pretty mixed. Now, I did remove some comments. I removed the comments that essentially said, you're a shitty player, you build shit, you are worse than beginners, you should not make guides. Those are comments I will remove because they don't actually add anything to the conversation. I did keep, now there is a better comment in the comments, which was... I don't agree with your build, I think you should build these items. That's a better conversation. That's a better one there. And I think that brings out more, because I did forget to mention Titan's Bane. That's on me. I forgot to mention Titan's Bane. That's a good item to have on her. Also, I could have mentioned a little bit more about Hydra's Lament. The idea that these builds are, you guys, some of you guys are there when I'm making these builds. Like, I make these builds, I go, I think this will be really good for beginner, because These all make up for a bunch of her weaknesses, or they excel in her strengths, and it'll help a player out that's new at the game do well with it. And I look at you guys who are at the discussion going, do you guys have any thoughts? Do you think this is wrong? Do you guys think I should put something else in there? And you guys will mention other items, which is why I have Shifter's Shield in there, which is why I have Hydra's Lament in there. Because, yeah, those are some good items she could use. Bubble as well is a good item she can have. Just those are items. But none of us mentioned Titan's Bane, and bad on me to not even think about it. Titan's Bane is pretty good on her because of the pen. And you can go for Warrior Tabi, but I'm more for Ninja Tabi. I'm more for cooldown at the start because it allows you to gank more often. You hit hard when you gank, when you have all the pen but less cooldown. But having your cooldown shorter means you get to gank more often, which means you get to be in the fight more often. And the lifesteal's there so that you don't have to go to the base as much. It makes you more efficient in that way. Because sometimes people just inefficient back all day because they're not having any lifesteal and they just go for power. That's really the idea there. Also, these are builds for the long game, not the short game. It's not about super risk going through it. It's going for playing a solid game from start to finish for like 30 or 40 minute games. This isn't about trying to get an early surrender out of opponents. Like, I can play super aggressive builds, and it all hinges on how well I get these kills, and either I will get a bunch of kills early on and win the whole thing, or I'll F up and get destroyed, and then we won't win the whole thing early game. But that's a style you can do, and that's the more aggressive style. These builds are more of a somewhere middle ground, safer builds. So beginners get comfortable with the gods, and then they can find their way later on what builds they feel will be even better. These are the base of a tree here. This is the thing that will make you the best god ever builds. These are builds that should help you get pretty good with the god, and then you can figure things out on your own. And I say that in the videos, which is another annoyance, is people who just ignore everything. Just go, oh, let me just look at the build. Oh, okay, that's it? Alright, fine. They don't go for the context of it all. And that's something that happens. It's annoying that it's something that happens, but if it gets out of hand, I'm gonna remove it because it doesn't help the conversation for anybody. I want my comment section to actually have merit to it. I don't want it to be, oh, this is shit, over and over and over again. That's not gonna do anything, or I just don't want that. That doesn't help anyone. Like, oh, this build's bad. Tell me what could be better than just saying this build's bad, because that will help players. Saying alternatives will make it better. Will make the comment section better. That's important. Just saying this build's shit and give me nothing more does nothing for anybody. Doesn't do a damn thing for anyone. And that doesn't help. These guides are here to help players get better at the game. That's what they're for. And if you're going to shit on the guide and not give me an alternative, then I don't want it. It doesn't do any good for anybody. That's my standpoint on it. If you don't, you say great guide, alright, so that's a thing. You say shit guide, I'll let those slide a bit. But if you go on a little bit and you don't add anything more to it, then I just find I don't find it really worth having up. You can disagree. That's great. Tell me why you disagree. Tell me why you disagree. Because if you don't tell me why you disagree, I don't see any merit in it, and I just go, why comment or why even read it? I want us to have conversations here, people. I don't want us just going, I don't want people to just say shit and nothing else. I said this maybe 3 times in a circle already saying that. Just give me something worth talking about, basically. But of course, you guys are listening and watching this vlog, of course, are most likely to do that already because you're my core audience anyway. So you know that's how I roll. It's the random people who come in and do whatever. Obviously, they don't know how I want them to roll. And I can't choose or control how they roll, but I can do something about it after it comes out. I'm not going to over-curate things, but I want there to be merit to the conversation in the comments. If I worded that correctly. Of course, what I'm also guarding against is people saying, well, you're not doing the opposite, where it's just people saying it's a great guy, why don't you get rid of that? Because fudge it, ego, how about that? The Hades nerf is weird to me. I know Hades can absolutely destroy the ever-loving crap out of people when they're in minion lines, but that's why you don't stand there. You don't stand there for a minion line to hit you and destroy you, you dummy. Dummy. Like, you don't do that. That's Hades 101. You don't stand next to your minion line. You don't let him do that. Same thing for Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna 101 is you don't stand in a direction for him to hit your minions and you. You don't stand behind your minion line. That's for a lot, anything. 101 for a lot of gods is don't stand in a position that they can take advantage of. Simple as that. You don't stand next to minions when Naya's got a ring toss. You don't stand behind your minions when Honor's got his impale, when a lot of gods have their skill shots. You don't stand too close to anything with the ring toss. I already said that. There's just things you don't do when fighting a certain god. And they're nerfing Hades' main form of harassment with that, by punishing anyone who badly positions themselves around minions. But Hades falls off hard late. He is amazing early and mid. If you get him fed, he will destroy into late game until everyone catches up to him. That's how he is. That's how a lot of early strong gods are. They're strong at the start, then they fall off, and then the hard late gods come in and then just wreck everything else. ADCs are okay early. They're good mid, they're incredibly powerful late. That's how ADCs are. Certain gods, mages are usually good across the board. Guardians are usually good, are kind of alright early, kind of alright mid. They're incredibly great late. Hades, of course, is a guardian magey kind of guy, so he's great early mid and then not so great late game, unless you get him really fed. Like how Arachne is, she was a beast early mid game with a horrible late game. And she still has that horrible late game, but now she's got an abysmal early mid game as well. And you got an example, Bastet. An incredibly powerful early mid game. You get her fed, she'll be great late game. And because he'll be built into making up for her late game weaknesses, because her abilities fall off pretty hard late game. And you got Kali, who is very weak early game, good mid game, and she effing destroys everyone late game. Kali's attack speed makes her one of the most dangerous gods late game. You also got Mercury, who has a very okay early game, a pretty good mid game, and then he's a hyper carry late game. Like, there's these ranges of gods, how they do things. But for these gods who fall off late, they keep getting nerfed because they destroy so well early to mid game, and then bah, like, those gods keep getting nerfed. We see that with Arachne, we saw that with Bastet as well. We just see that with a lot of gods who are strong early to late, because games end early because of them. So they keep getting nerfed because of that. And then on the other side of things, we got Scylla, who has not the best early game, pretty good mid game, and then she has probably one of the best late games there are, because she can absolutely destroy, because, well, no, she has a pretty good mid game as well, because once she gets Crush 5, she's got 25 penetration, for God's sakes. That's great. That's incredibly powerful. That's awesome for her. So because of that, she absolutely destroys people. So yeah. That's just how different gods are. And we do see what they did is they nerfed her burstiness, so I'm very curious how that's going to go with her after the patch. Which is Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm not sure. Definitely not sure when that's going to be. And let's see, anything else Smitey? I think so. Oh, Bacchus, of course, got cheaper in mana. I'm going to say all this in the patch notes video, of course, but I'm just saying it all now as well. Bacchus, cheaper mana means he has to chug less, which is good for him because he can chug way too much and then just be with no mana. So it's more mana efficiency for him. Bacchus is a very strong god by people who know how to play him. If you don't know how to play him, then you're screwed. But if you know how to play him, he absolutely owns the battlefield. He is really good at it. So having cheaper mana cost will help him quite a bit. He'll allow him to do 1 or 2 extra attacks because he'll be chugging a little. His chugging will hurt him a little less. So good for him there. And I don't think it's going to be a big resurgence in Bacchus. I think it's going to make Bacchus players better, but I don't think it's going to be a resurgence because people they don't understand how strong he really is. I really, that's how I feel. I don't think people understand how strong Bacchus is. He's incredibly powerful, but not a lot of people like to play him. Also, he's just overshadowed by Kumba and Geb, and like those two are overshadowing everybody right now. Those two are just really good guardians, so they overshadow everything. Especially Kumba. Even with that half-second nerf to him on his mez, it's still going to be an incredibly good mez. That's 3 seconds. It's still a strong-ass mez there. That's nice. Good mez. He's still going to be a strong god to deal with. Everything non-smite now. Wait, one more thing. Okay, so Athena is the god we're going to work on, and the next god will be Chunga. And I'm okay with Chunga. She's definitely going to be recommended solo or mid. I get more solo, because she's safer out there. Although she can get away from mid ganks pretty well, considering who she is. But she'll be recommended for solo, but basically you can be mid with her as well. And although I have won with Chunga jungle more than once, I am not recommending that even as advanced. That's a ridiculous plan, so I'm not going to do that. But definitely say solo beginner, advanced mid, if you really wanna. And just talk about the things about her. And just use your bunny. Use your bunny all the time. Just keep using your dang bunny and your opponents will have a hell of a time. Also take advantage of her lifesteal debuffing. That's such a nice thing she can do there. Everyone likes to throw out 90% reduction to healing. Everyone loves throwing that out. And of course I'm going to say it. Because why not? You have to. Alright, now non-smite stuff. Alright, one more thing. The next one after Chong is going to be a warrior because I want to cover at least one of each role every time. So after that, it'll be a free-for-all vote for any role again. And then just go like that. So Every group of 5 is going to be one of each until we run out of gods for things, and then we'll just do the grouping differently. But that's in a couple months, because we got a lot of gods to go through. And I do intend to do every god. Like, I intend for this series to last a whole year, because there's going to be gods to do. And after that's all done, it's going to be just updating changes to gods. So yeah, I intend to just keep going with this. At the same time, we need to work on the mid guide at some point, but I'm so busy with these and other things that I don't know when we're going to work on the mid guide. But eventually we'll have it up, and then the support guide, and then finally the ADC guide. ADC, Zhonghui does a pretty good job, besides the fact that Heartseeker isn't the core item anymore. It's more, maybe Heartseeker or Devourer's Gloves, but you never know. Alright, let's talk about everything else. So, Thief is done. Thief was great. It was pretty fun. I thought it was very entertaining playthrough. I thought I was pretty good in that. I don't think people really cared about Thief, though, which is too bad. Thief is a fun game, but it is a slow game, so it's not the best to watch, which means, as fun as I was, I needed to be maybe 2 or 4 times better than I was at entertaining in that game to have everyone very interested in it. It is a very slow game where you're just stealing things, and sometimes I'm horribly murdering things and stuff like that. And so you gotta... It's not a game that you should... I don't know. If you bring too much energy to it, then it detracts from the game a bit. So it's a very hard thing to think about for that game. But because of that, there's not a lot of people wanting to watch it, and that's too bad there. It was a lot of fun. Pretty good game. Absolutely hate the ending, though, but pretty good game. I really enjoyed it, and I'm happy I played it. Up next, of course, as you can see already, is Transistor. It's been out for 3 episodes. People are enjoying that quite a bit. A very different game because of the planning phase and stuff like that. It's also another kind of slower, lower energy kind of game going on there. But I am having fun with it and trying to be interesting while doing it. Trying to be entertained while doing it, but the game entertains itself pretty well, I think, as well. So everyone should be good for a ride on that one. It's not too long a game. It should go into late June, early July when it finishes. And then we'll move on to Gunslinger, which is a higher energy game. Very fun game. Oh my god, is this game awesome. I played it for like, an hour or 2 hours on stream. And you know what? This needs to be an LP. This needs to be an LP. So I'm going to play it as an LP. I'm going to play it on hard probably. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. And I think it'll be an incredibly entertaining watch. I really do. And I think the Anubis game is over, or almost over, so I better wrap this all up. But Gunslinger is a lot of fun to play, and I cannot wait to have fun with that. Just play the game. The game itself will be pretty enjoyable to watch, but I think I can bring in a nice little spice to it as well and make it even more fun, so that'll be great. The game after, though, we got to decide. There's a couple games I'm thinking of, and we'll see which one it'll be. I'm thinking still Metal Gear Revengeance. That's going to be a good choice. I'm also thinking Wolfenstein. Looks like a really fun one. Or maybe something new comes out around then that could be worth playing as well. But I think definitely one of those games. One of those games definitely. Right now is the big sale, so there's a bunch of games to buy as well for one-shots and stuff like that. And also, I don't know if the next one-shot's going to be... we got donation from Mist to do Ebb's Odyssey, because he's a big fan of that game, and a couple other people are big fans of that game. It's not exactly easy to do, to record that game. There's a lot of trouble to record in that game, and we're still figuring it out. We'll hopefully figure it out. It's going to be heavily pixelated regardless, though, because it is a PlayStation 1 game. But we're figuring it out, and hopefully we get it done before New and Tasty comes out, which is the HD version of it. Just to show out the game, go, hey, here's a fun game, here's pretty cool. And the HD version is coming out. So if you like this, then maybe you can check it out. There you go. Yeah. So it might not be Abe's Odyssey next. It might be a different game. There's a couple free-to-play games I've seen that look amazing. I don't know how nickel and dimey they are. I actually don't know how much I gotta play to see how nickel and dimey they are. There's a lot of free-to-play games that are really good, but they have different price models on how they make money. And some are very nickel and dimey that just turn you off, and some are more pay for convenience or pay for skins or pay for time kind of things. Like Warframe. I'm going long, but let's see. Warframe is a very fun free-to-play game. It's a very, very good game, very polished, amazing. It's a great game. I just hate that I have to wait 3 days to get another suit, and that's actually what turned me off the game. Like, I spent a month grinding up all the stuff I needed to make another suit. And it's like, all right, you made the whole thing. Great, good job. 3 days. Like, really? 3 more days? Well, I've done most of this game already with the free suit. I think I'm done for now. And so I just stopped playing Warframe. I was so excited to play a new suit. I'm like, 3 more days? Shoot. And of course I could just buy the time, so it's done already. But I don't have the scratch for that. But that's their model. Their model is their model. And it's not a bad model. The game was incredibly enjoyable for 30 or so or 40 hours. But that part right there, just, okay, I can play other things. So I might look into some free-to-plays for, okay, There's free-to-plays I can look into for one-shots. There's indie games I can look into for one-shots, or some cheap older games for one-shots. There's a lot of choices for the one-shots. Also, of course, donation games as well. So you saw Hammerwatch was donated, Project Root was donated, Super Wagon Adventure was donated. And those were all very different experiences to put on one shot for sure. And Ebb's Odyssey is going to be another experience. And I like that. They're different experiences in the one shots are different experiences. That's great. That's awesome. And that's everything. Sunday stream is going to be World of Tanks. I'm having fun with that. And yeah, I should have an announcement video up before even this one saying we're going to do World of Tanks Sunday, so join in. But yeah, I'm going way the hell over. So that's it. That is everything this week. We'll see how Rama is. We will see how the Athena guide goes, and then start working on Zhanga. But that's the week. And yeah, I went on a long time. Sorry, Jinx. Sorry. Thank you, everyone, as always, for your views, your likes, dislikes, your comments, everything. Thanks for all that. It's fine to say you liked the video or you didn't like the video. It's fine to say that. It's fine to get feedback. It's not fun to just say it's crap and give me nothing more with that. That's all I'm against. That's really all I'm against, is just saying, this sucks. He's like, give me more than that. But besides that, yeah. And thank you to Jinx for all her hard work, and that's everything. So that is the vlog. I had fun with everyone watching and listening, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.